All right, my name is Matt Logsdon of the Indiana Whiskey Company, and I'm going to show you how to make an unpretentious old-fashioned. Everybody seems to want to up the game every year, and there's some new bartender out there who's going to like fat solubilize some nonsense, or is going to muddle something, and it's all a bunch of nonsense. You can make a perfectly good old-fashioned at your home with the simplest of ingredients. You're going to get yourself a potato peeler, and you're going to slice the edge of an orange. The goal is to have as little of the white. You want to keep all the white on the orange. Now, you can probably smell it. It's a really great thing, because if you're smelling it, that means there's a bunch of oils on here that are right at the surface. And so what you're gonna do is you're just gonna wipe that around the rim. And I throw in the orange peel first, because the oils, there's still a bunch of oils there, but what that's gonna do at the end is you're always gonna be able to smell the orange as you drink. So, next thing is the whiskey. I'm gonna use some Indiana Whiskey Company Just Whiskey Bourbon, because it's delicious and so reasonably priced. So this one is, again, very much up to you. It's a work day for us, so I'm only gonna do a modest 2 ounces. Really, the trick with the old fashioned is balancing all of the other ingredients with the whiskey. Really, you wanna get out of the whiskey's way. With our bourbon, it's very smooth, there's no rye in it, there's not a lot of spice you have to overcome with sugar and whatnot. Really, we're just gonna add the simplest of ingredients to let the whiskey shine through. Speaking of sugar, there's a lot of people out there who are gonna get a sugar cube and they're gonna put some bitters on it, and then they're gonna pound it down with a muddler, and then you're gonna get this grainy old fashioned that sticks, you're chewing on the sugar crystals. And that's because ethanol has a really low ability to dissolve sugar. So the best way to do it is just to dissolve the sugar yourself in some water. So this is 50% sugar, 50% water, and we just heat up the water, we dump in the sugar. This is called simple syrup. There's no magic to it. I tend to use less than an ounce. And if you got a sweet tooth, use more. But again, the idea is that if you have a bourbon, bourbons are already sweet. They're made of corn, there's a lot of sweetness in there. And so if you're really not trying to go over, really you just kind of want like a little dash. So this is about maybe half an ounce. Right in there. Take like a spoon or something. I don't have a fancy muddler here, because again, this is an unpretentious old fashioned. I'm assuming you don't have a muddler either. So at this point you could, if you wanted to, kind of push down on that orange peel to kind of really fully express the oils in the orange peel. But again, because you've wiped it around the rim, you don't really have to do that. It's totally up to you. So the last part I do here, and you can do this before or after the mixing, but the bitters are gonna blend in with the whiskey anyway, so you can add that right here. I tend to add a lot. Again, you're trying to balance the whiskey. So if you've got a rye, which is a little bit more bitter, you add less bitters. If you've got a bourbon that's very sweet, you add the bitters. Bitters are only there to bring out the flavor in the whiskey. They kind of make your tongue go, oh, there's something bitter in here, and you taste the bitterness of the whiskey. All right, last thing you wanna do is the ice. And I'm just gonna do a little mix here. And you just do this a little bit, just enough to get the drink cold. You wanna mix up the sugar, so the syrup, which should be very easy because it's syrup and you're not trying to mix in granulated sugar. So you mix this up, get it cold, the ice cube should melt a little bit. And once you have it cold, you add in a few more large ice cubes to keep it cold. But at this point, you do not stir, because at this point, if you stir in a bunch of ice cubes, you're just gonna melt the ice cubes. So this is kind of like the maintenance ice cube, just to keep it cool. Here it is, your unpretentious old fashioned, served with Indiana Whiskey Company, just whiskey. I'm Matt Logsdon, the president of the Indiana Whiskey Company, and I'm a South Bend local. So